Hi friends, this month we're talking about humility, putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. A few weeks ago we celebrated Easter. Jesus showed up in an ultimate example of humility, giving up all he was for us. Just after Jesus came back to life, two of his followers were walking along to a city called Emmaus. As they were traveling on, it was about a 7-mile journey for them. So as they were walking, they were talking. They were trying to make sense of everything that had just happened. How had Jesus gone from having so many followers and celebrating in the streets of Jerusalem to being arrested and beaten? I don't know, guys. Could this be true? The men were attempting all of this to understand when suddenly Jesus appeared. But God kept them from recognizing who Jesus was. The stranger asked them, "What are you guys talking about?" And one of the men said, "Are you the only person in Jerusalem who hasn't heard what's going on?" Now at this, they continued to walk along. Jesus continued to pretend that he didn't know what they were talking about. So the men were telling him everything that had happened. Of course, the funny part of this is they were telling Jesus about Jesus. These two men didn't know what to think. An empty tomb? How can it be? As they were traveling, they finally got to the village. The two men asked Jesus to stay for a meal. He agreed. Everyone sat down around the table and enjoyed their time. When they finally started eating, Jesus took some bread. He broke it and started to give thanks. Then God opened their eyes and the two men realized it was Jesus. Then, suddenly, Jesus disappeared out of sight. The two men realized that this had been Jesus all along. Wait, let me get their arms up. They realized they had to run back and tell their friends in Jerusalem what was going on. So as they traveled back to Jerusalem, they got there and they said, "We have seen him. It's a Jesus. He's alive." And God's plan is bigger than we can imagine. The good news is that we can remember that God has us in his hands. There's always more to discover about God's plan. Thanks for joining me today. In the description below, you'll find an activity you can do as a family and, of course, a word search. Bye, friends. See you next week.